Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and with me today are...
Jake!
Chris.
And Ames.
And we are here today for episode 47!
Woo!
And we're going to talk about the classic animated series episodes, The Eye of the Beholder, The Jihad, and The Pirates of Orion, or Orion, as they insisted on saying over and over again.
They're like Chris. They don't know how to say it.
I no longer feel bad about the fact that I would say Orion, because at least I was saying the middle letters properly.
Yeah, he actually said, like, Jesus, they know even less well how to say the word Orion. I was like, that's correct. In The Eye of the Beholder, the Enterprise crew find a empty ship, and they're like, let's go explore it. And they find a message left by the people who previously inhabited said ship, which is becoming a theme in this series. And they're like, we sent a landing party, and they're gone. We're gonna go see what happens, but be warned that... And the message cuts off. So
No, Kirk turns it off.
Stop
recording.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Worst captain.
So what you're
yet.
saying is Kirk's a fucking idiot.
Yep.
Alright, well, news at 11. So, Kirk, apparently neither forewarned nor forearmed, while berating the captain of that little tiny dinghy for not following procedure, decides that he's gonna beam down to this planet. He and Spock and McCoy beam down. They're wandering through the landscape. There's like a dragon fight, which looks like it's really small. But then it's enormous and lands on dock, and even though really he should have been probably dead, they're able to dig him out, and he's like, nope, feeling great. Not every day you get squashed by a dinosaur. Ha ha. I say. So eventually they're captured by, I don't even know, like, Horda / squiddy, rapey tentacle monsters. Sluggies. They were like sluggies.
They're like slugophants. They're like elephant trunks.
Yeah, they were like elephants.
Tactile, like with finger,
but
like
thumbs.
digits.
No thumbs. So
I liked them
that.
actually. I thought they were very cute.
I liked them too.
And they're bright pink.
But they were snuck up upon by these giant slug monsters, which, as Chris pointed out, like, how the fuck did they even sneak up on them?
Well, they don't leave footprints because they don't have feet, so they didn't make noise.
And I suggested they were probably just very quiet.
Huge.
Yeah, but if you're facing the wrong direction, it doesn't matter how big a thing is.
But they were all facing, like, they were in a ring, so each of them could see over the other one's shoulder.
We can discuss this when we get to the episode. Anyway, they're captured by snuffleupaguses and carried away into a zoo, where they become the exhibit, which is also not an unfamiliar piece of territory for us to be wandering into.
I'd go to that zoo.
Yeah, I would too.
It's almost a menagerie. They were in a cage.
Man, remember those episodes? Those were good episodes.
Yeah.
At any rate, they get to the zoo, and the people who went down to go after the original landing party are there. They're still alive. One of them is sick. Spock, using his... You know, he's super in tune with his feelings for someone that has no feelings. I can sense that they are yeah, okay. He figures out that they're telepaths, and he also figures out that if they think really hard about something, that these slugophaguses will try to give them what they want. They test this out when Doc needs his med kit to help the woman, the third member of the crew, who is fallen ill. And then they're like, I bet we can escape with this brilliant plan. So they get them to hand over the communicator. Kirk tries to get beamed up, but a little slugophagus steals the communicator. He gets beamed up. He and Scotty go on some wacky intergalactic hijinks.
Oh, man.
And then return to the planet and save the day.
So happy.
Kirk and crew beam back up. Slugophagus is back with his parents. Oh, and sorry, lest I forget, Kirk gives us some absolutely fucking fantastic acting when the Slugophaguses invade his mind, because they think so quickly that if he doesn't have a mind shield up against them at all times, it will drive him insane! So that was great. And by great, I mean, it was alright. I didn't hate it. Then we've got the Jihad, and Kirk and Spock are mysteriously summoned to a group of... Basically, it's Ocean's 11, but there's 5 of them, and most of them are weird... Or 6 of them, and most of them are weird-ass aliens. So T'Char is like, I am the prince of this land, and our special prize from a tricks box was stolen. It's a holy relic, and we need it back, and you guys are going to help us. Many have tried. None have succeeded. So Char... who is a big yellow bird monster, along with Sword, who sort of reminded me like of a Gorn, except a little more well-spoken. And
better animated, too.
Yes. And M3 Green, who very blatantly is like, I'm a big pussy.
And very poorly animated.
Yeah,
except his supposed cowardice never really came into play.
Oh, boy.
He was a wet blanket. Though.
Yes, but he never, like...
No, he tried to give up. There was a time where he tries to give up.
That was not even afraid. He was just sleepy.
Yeah,
Anyway, sorry, go
Carry
on.
me the rest of the way.
Yeah, so anyway, he was a little bitch. And then also we have Lara, not Croft, but...
Close, though.
Yeah, close. Who reminded me a little bit of Layla from... or Leela, rather, from Doctor Who. What with the barbarian get up there.
I want to fuck you, Kirk.
Yeah, dude, she was thirsty as shit.
And Kirk was intimidated by a woman who was unafraid to say it.
Yeah, no boners today. Anyway, they go on an epic quest to find the
Ocarina and rescue the princess?
Yes, and along the way, there are volcanoes erupting constantly. There are sinkholes bigger than the fucking one in front of Mar-a-Lago that time. And they eventually are able to... Oh, there are pterodactyls. And
it's always the same pterodactyl.
Dragons.
It's the same.
Well,
dragon
it was the same sound effect
and the same visual.
Well, we've seen 2 different distinct types of pterodactyls, but this was a repeat of a previous pterodactyl.
But they were supposed to be robots.
Yeah, well, that's
for some reason.
so they could kill them without getting in trouble.
Right.
Probably.
So that it could be clear that there wasn't life. There weren't life. forms
Right,
on
because
the
that was
planet.
the big thing. Is there's no life on this
Yeah, those
planet,
cat monsters are geniuses. They would know if there was life.
They were the oldest species or some nonsense.
Oldest spacefaring, yeah.
So at any rate, they finally get to the... It looked like a fucking circus tent where the holy relic is being stored, and they're like, it occurs to me, Spock probably, this wasn't that difficult. How did everybody keep dying? There must be a traitor from within. And I had said, like, earlier on in the episode, blank is definitely going to turn bad at the end of this episode. We won't get into that yet. We'll talk about it later. Or will we? I don't know. At any rate, they find the holy relic, they find out who the baddie is, and they take the bad guy to justice while also recapturing the holy relic and restoring peace to the galaxy.
Ta-da.
Everything's great. In the Pirates of Orion, the Enterprise has an outbreak of, I don't know, super herpes or something.
Kirk!
Everybody, all the people on board are totally okay because they were inoculated, I guess, because by the 23rd century, the anti-vax movement has thankfully died out. But
I think it was just that the disease isn't harmful to humans. Okay.
Then why did they bother mentioning it?
I don't know. Spock is anti-vax.
Fucking-
That's the moral of the story.
Fucking
Spock
bitch.
has copper-based blood.
So
That was kind of cool, actually.
choriocytosis. Am I saying that right?
Probably.
Thank you.
I thought it sounded like he was saying curiositas when he said it on the show.
So maybe it's
Well, he's Southern.
curiositosis. Well, at any rate, Spock gets the sickness and...
Down with the sickness.
Can anybody do that sound that they make in
I'm
that
not going to
song?
try and make an ass of myself.
Do it.
No, you go ahead.
I'm not familiar with the song, so...
What?
You don't know that
You never
song?
heard Down with the Sickness?
I mean, probably, but not often enough to know what the hell you're talking about when it
Oh,
comes to a
man.
sound.
Well, anyways, so...
Apparently
Was that
only
like
the leader of this
Stained or
band can
something?
make
Who
this
was
sound.
that?
No, that's Disturbed.
Disturbed. I knew it was one.
Stained did Outside, and it's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, Spock is struck down with chlamydiosis here. And, still Kirk.
Hanging
And,
ball syndrome.
Oh, no. And, basically, Doc is like, well, what's going to basically happen is we can treat him, but after 2 days, the treatment's not going to be effective anymore. He's going to get really tired and die. Kirk's like, oh, fuck. Well, we could go to this planet that's 4 days away and kind of get some of the drug that'll make it better. And he's like, but he won't live long enough. And then Kirk, this great leader, this fantastic mastermind of brilliance, is like, fuck, what do we do? And Doc's like, we just do a rendezvous. And Kirk's like, oh, yeah.
Like a romantic rendezvous?
He was hoping.
Yeah.
McCoy knows all about rendezvous.
We're going to go meet that savagey looking lady from the last episode?
They decide to have a rendezvous, and that's going to happen, but the ship that has the medicine that's going to meet them is boarded, and all their shit gets stolen by the Orions, or the Orions. And Kirk is like, well, we got to make a deal, because I have to save my boyfriend. So, as you guys might remember, the Orions, of course, were key players in the Journey to Babel, the incident of, what the fuck was that planet? Corridon, thank you.
And their women love being degraded.
Well, who
doesn't?
That's
right.
But their women are green, and they are some kind of blue.
Yeah, they look like weird, like, Transformer people. Yeah. They were weird. Shitty 80s cartoon-esque. So they were ahead of their times. At any rate, Kirk's like, listen, I know that you stole this shit because I followed your chemtrails back to your back to your ship.
Wow, this episode is really anti-vax, chemtrails. Where's the flat Earth going to fit into this?
I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. Everything's good. So they follow the trail back to them, and they're like, yo, listen, I know that you're a neutral organization, and I'm just going to pretend none of this happened if you hand over the drugs. You can even keep the dilithium crystals you stole. I'm not trying to suck my own cock here, but...
I'll give you extras payment.
By the time this episode airs, he'll have been fired, and everyone will have forgotten.
Did you hear his wife left him?
His pregnant wife.
9 months.
What? Yeah. I missed this.
Yeah, well,
this kid is not growing up in a world with this man.
Couldn't have happened to a bigger douchebag. He's gonna have to learn how to suck his own cock now.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's degrading to women.
Yeah, he'll just move on someone like a bitch.
That sounds right. Listen,
that's how they do things.
That's just locker room talk, Jake.
It's when you're famous, they let you do it.
I mean, I'm not tring to say all men, but basically all men.
You know, as someone who's famous from this podcast, let me tell you. We let you kiss him.
I just start kissing him right away.
It will be funny if he's fired by the time this goes live.
I know, and now I'm actually banking on it. So at any rate, they try to, the Orions are like, sure, we'll take some extra dilithium, you can have the medicine, but then they're like, secretly, let's fuck them over. And they don't, and I don't remember why.
Because they couldn't commit suicide like they wanted to, because all Orions want to commit suicide at all times.
If you fail in your pirating mission,
you
have to commit suicide.
Right, because Kirk beams him up, right?
Yeah,
Kirk,
Scotty beams the dilithium out of his little backpack.
And then they beam him up.
And inerts it.
So they get the drugs, the Orions don't get to commit suicide, which is their favorite thing. Second favorite. Success is their favorite.
Yes.
Suicide, their second favorite.
Success, favorite, a nice flan is number 3.
Success, suicide, flan.
They also had like a suicide pill in case like all else fails.
They do.
They had
they
took it from him.
Yeah,
I know.
So,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that they had that info. So anyways, the day is saved. Spock shockingly doesn't die, and
then McCoy has to be racist at the end, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Well, Spock's a little racist too. There's a legend enough racism to go around.
Vulcans are pretty
everyone's
racist.
a little bit
They were
racist
like
sometimes.
The joke, in case you haven't watched the episode that's racist, is McCoy's like, man, I really hate those Orientals.
Jake is fired again. How many times can we fire Jake before he'll stop coming back?
Because it's Oriental.
Yeah, it does sound like Oriental. It's true.
So, Eye of the Beholder. I don't understand why it was called that.
Because this episode was garbage, and every episode of this series is garbage.
Yeah, they're really... I said this right before we started recording, but I don't know when you two watched these, but me and Caitlin watched these this morning.
Yeah, we watched this morning too.
I was already having trouble differentiating them from the garbage we've watched in weeks past. It's just starting to mash together into a huge, poorly animated blur of suck.
A chop suey, if you will.
Sounds delicious.
To actually seriously answer your question, Ames, it's because, it's a forced reason to use it, but because to the slug monsters, the humans are simplistic animals. Just as to us, simplistic animals are simplistic. But to us, we think we're terribly clever. But the slugs are like, you are but children to us. Meh.
I did like when they laughed. when they just kind of jiggle like a Jello mold.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Shake,
their kid,
shake.
I want a
like
whole.
Polaroid picture.
Hey, I want a whole spin-off series that reveals that, like, sometime between Star Trek VI and the events that lead to his cameo in TNG, Scotty went back to that planet and started palling around with that squid monster, and they had adventures.
They were actually a really cute couple, and I enjoyed them very much.
Like
I can only assume they banged.
Yo,
it's
the
like baby.
Yeah, but in their years, which could be like centuries in our years, we don't know.
Even Spock hasn't figured that out. They can't measure how long it takes for that planet to rotate.
It's not rotate. It's the whole revolution. You have to see over time where it has gone, and they've only found
This
it
is
now.
a free roaming planet.
Jake.
It doesn't have a star.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure like NASA today can calculate the time of like exoplanets.
Yeah, but you have to see how fast it's going.
You got to be able to
So you sit there
triangulate.
and watch it for 20 minutes. You're like, okay, that's how fast it goes.
Although, being fair, I actually...
Jake's a scientist name.
He's totally a scientist.
Let me tell you.
I did see a headline the other day. I didn't get a chance to read the article, but apparently we still don't know how long a day is on Saturn for some reason.
Possibly because Saturn doesn't rotate. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Like you can't see through the clouds.
Yeah.
You can't see the forest for the trees.
But yeah, no, a better series totally would have been The Adventures of Mr. Scott and Baby Slug Monster. They could, like... Because the 1970s, I feel like detective shows really big. They could have been space detectives.
Yeah.
Like Jabberjaw and...
Yeah, they could have been the whole Hanna-Barbera thing.
Scooby-Doo and...
It's like, I'm Montgomery Scott, and this is my sidekick in otherworldly horror.
Slugworth.
And for some reason, the two of them can communicate.
Really well.
Like, they had a conversation, and you can tell, like, Scott says, well, I told him this. And then when they talk to the slug thing about something else, Scott says, oh, well, he didn't tell me that.
I just think...
because you guys are biffles, and it's adorable.
It's not that they were speaking too fast, it's that they speak Scottish. Have you ever seen, like, an actual Scottish person speak? They're incomprehensible.
We're so sorry to...
It's better than the Welsh.
Oh,
slightly.
Yikes.
We're also sorry to the Welsh now. Maybe because it was a young one, it thought slower and was therefore you could converse with it without your brain frying.
It was like a baby. Like humans are babies.
Yeah, he was also more mentally pliable.
That's
I think.
interesting.
So.
That's actually really good.
Also,
Scott was drunk, so he was.
He'd be extra slowed down, though. So.
I do appreciate, though, that the day was saved by Baby Slug and Scotty. And like you said, Scotty just shows up like it's the most matter-of-fact thing in the world. Like, right, I fixed everything. You're fucking welcome. Also, how did they fit the Slug Baby in the turbo lift?
Just like squeeze it in there.
They probably didn't have a skeleton.
I thought it was crazy how, or not crazy, I just thought it was interesting how they had Kirk fight that weird giant monster guy in the castle.
Wrong episode. You thinking of the menagerie again?
Fuck.
Yeah, that's gonna keep happening.
I keep mixing these up.
Yeah.
Because they're the same.
No, but remember when there was that woman there that like was trying really hard to convince Kirk that it was a good idea to stay, that they'd have everything they wanted, right?
That's either the menagerie or the Jihad.
But she turned out to be really homely because she had been like
definitely
put
the
together.
Jihad, then.
She'd been repaired by aliens.
That cat lady was pretty hideoso.
Oh, I meant the stalker lady.
Oh yeah, the one with
She was hot. She had great eyebrows. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. That bitch was on fleek.
Okay, let's not move on to the Jihad yet.
Are you sure? Because
I don't remember. Let's see if there is anything useful in my notes. I mean,
sorry, go on.
I mean, the dragons from Infinite Vulcan were back.
Yeah.
We'll see them again in the Jihad because they didn't want to use new animation.
They couldn't even recolor them.
Nope. And the Lactrans were specifically designed so that they wouldn't have to do much animation. So, they're telepathic, so they don't have to do mouths, and they don't have legs, so they don't have to make them walk.
Having said that, they put a lot of effort into their eyes. They had very expressive eyes.
They were just huge. I don't know if there was a lot of
They
extra
moved around
work
a
done.
lot.
Yeah, but the pupils move around. That's easy. That's easy animation.
Fair. I guess maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like I remember the lids kind of doing shit.
Well, it's because one of them did some serious side-eye that one time, and Chris liked
They
them.
were great. The slugs were great.
Yeah, I liked them. They're a serious highlight for sure.
I would love living in their zoo. It looked like the people from the other ship that they found that was abandoned or whatever, because let's all beam down to a planet, and I have no idea how they'd beam back up. But they just resign themselves, like, we live here now. This is how life is. It's okay.
Well, I mean, their commander, was British. You're like, well, Keep calm, carry on then.
Well, they tried to escape at least a dozen different ways, guys. Obviously.
Yeah, they tried the force field. So whatever happened to the chick that was sick?
She was fine, I guess.
We never saw her again.
McCoy waved his whoop-whoop machine over her, and she was alright.
Whooped her?
I love it. He's like, I can't fucking tell what's wrong with her without my tricorder. And I was like, yeah, that's because you're basically a fucking fast food serviceman. That's why. You don't actually, like... I'm saying. He doesn't know how to doctor. He really
has
doesn't.
that crisis in the Spock episode.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, I'm nothing without my medicines and technology.
You literally are nothing. You literally were given, like... You do the... Woo, 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 it tells you what to do, and then you have a hypo that does it. That's it. What else have you done lately? I'm saying. Connected
it's got
some
bedside
brains.
manner, though.
Yeah, no, and he wasted it on
He
Spock.
did do, I mean, for all that we joke,
I know,
he
the
did
brain
do
surgery.
Not even that. Very complicated surgery that he didn't need a brain helmet to teach him that time in Journey to Babel.
Oh, that one.
That was delicate surgery.
That was a good one. That was McCoy at his best.
That he genuinely knew. Again, he did not need a magic alien machine to tell him how to do it. And he did it while the ship was getting bucked around by fucking... bullshit.
You know what stupid thing McCoy did this episode? So they find some water.
And he drinks it,
Yeah, and Spock says, "Well, let me test it first. Oh, it looks too pure to be normal water." And McCoy says, "It tastes fine." And I'm like, McCoy, don't drink that.
Seriously, that is some Prometheus level bad science right there.
I wonder what this is. Let me drink it. It could be gin. I don't know.
That's what he was hoping.
What you didn't see, Chris, is when the dinosaur was falling over, McCoy just ran straight in the direction that it was falling.
Seriously, how the fuck is he not dead? That tail alone must have weighed half a ton.
They couldn't even lift it. So,
right, but he was fine. Like, he was fine. He had to wiggle his legs a little.
Even with Spock, whose strength is 5 times that of a human or whatever.
Like you said, Caitlin, like, they'd been on the other side of a big stone wall. How was Doc suddenly able to be landed on it by, like you said, Jake, he had to have just run straight
And the
for
dinosaur also grew from being roughly their height to being the size of a skyscraper. So I'm thinking that when they shot it with the phaser, it knocked it out, but it also made it gigantic.
Yeah.
Like a puffer fish level reaction situation, like when it feels threatened, it just becomes
That's why
gigantic.
it was light enough that it didn't kill Doc. It
Exactly,
was mostly
because
air.
what happened was its atoms just spread out.
Yeah,
And so
that's
it
what
weighed
happens.
the same.
And what happened down with the dino, they say, is it grew 3 sizes that day or whatever.
And that's why, exactly. And that's why I got McCoy,
Shaking
because
my head
it
at
wasn't
you.
there at first, but then, so that's solved it. Everything
Also,
fixed.
Kirk miraculously knew its weak point somehow.
The neck,
Whatever,
aim
he's
for its
played
neck.
video
the
games.
jowls.
Yeah, aim for the big glowy bit on its stomach.
I was just thinking that way we were playing. I was like, see that part that has a red circle around it? That's where we gotta go. That's it.
So, like, this little ship they were looking for, right? This little science vessel. Crew of 6. Mm-hmm. Not very efficient, you gotta imagine. Like, were these just the biggest idiots in Starfleet? And they was like, just send them off to fucking get killed.
I don't know, Finney wasn't there.
Like, he was too busy being in space jail.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he might have been. Didn't even have a proper captain. They had a lieutenant commander.
Are we sure this wasn't just a shuttle that was jettisoned? Like, did they just get lucky?
Well, we were all hanging out in the ion pod that one time.
Orgy in the ion pod.
Can I just point out, though, that each of these episodes this week, it really does seem to me like they have about 10 minutes worth of story and 15 minutes worth of bullshit filler. Because there's a lot of, like, journey from A to B bullshit going on.
Yeah. Let the dinosaur land on you kind of stuff.
It's amazing. Even with only 25 minutes to work with, they're managing to pad.
Yeah, there's so much padding.
Well, and even in this first episode, they kind of like go through a bunch of different types of landscape, and they're like, "This is fucking weird." It's like the pattern is that it's fucking random,
and it doesn't make any fucking
Or
sense. And I'll
artificial.
tell you why it doesn't make any sense. Because they get to the zoo, which is an enclosed area.
Yep.
Why were there so many loose zoo animals outside the zoo?
Maybe they have a T-Rex.
Maybe that's their reservation.
Dun, dun,
They have a
dun,
big reservation.
dun, 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 dun.
Jake is here.
They spared no expense.
You know what
So
bothers me about that movie every fucking time?
That they spared a lot of expense?
No. Literally, there's a line when the fucking the power is down, the T-Rex is tearing apart its cage, and somebody opens a door and gets out, and fucking Joe Australian Shorts.
McClever girl.
Whatever his name is. He's like, how many times do I have to tell you to put locks on the doors? How many fucking times does he need to tell them?
Ames, you had a point?
I don't think I had a point.
You were starting to say something.
Oh god, if I was, it was long ago and I forgot what it was.
All right.
Jihad!
Oh my god.
Oh, I hated the Jihad.
If only like ISIS and Al Qaeda waged this kind of jihad.
A super incompetent one that's
Exactly.
easy to take down?
The war on terror would be over.
I love how you said that like that was the stupidest possible reason why that would be a good idea.
No, I'm thinking of how stupid this episode was, and that's what's
It was
influencing my
stupid.
tone.
It was stupid.
Before we start, though, the weird cat people, who apparently are like the wise old race we've never heard of before and we'll never hear of again.
And there's so many cat people on the show.
Yeah.
What did the fucking animators have with cats? There was
Cats
some
are
fucking
sexy.
weird ass bestiality bullshit going on in
Maybe
the
they're
show.
just furries.
What I love,
They had to
though,
be.
is they can, they seem to have a fairly advanced
Kids
normal...
love cats.
True. They have a fairly advanced normal language, but all of their technology is activated by a primal roar.
Yeah, it's like the normal voices.
Now the TV is on.
It's like the clap on, except it's
The fucking...
But seriously, why are there no human scale bipedal dog aliens? It's always cats.
You see a lot of lizards and birds, though.
dogs are dumb.
And there are those plant ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, no dogs.
Like,
Plants
Fuck
are
dogs.
dumber than dogs, probably.
Barely.
I'm the six-legged jackass lockpick guy. I'm so scared.
He was like a caterpillar or some
Yeah, he
shit.
was some weirdo monster. And I guess there was a lizard dude. But yeah, what was fucking Bird Brain's fucking harebrain idea?
I don't know. I do not know. It pissed me off so much.
All right, Mr. Bond. I have stolen this thing from my people to hide, but I'm going to stage a weird rescue thing and then kill the rescuer. So eventually,
But no
my
one
people
can
will
know.
get angry
Well,
enough
No one
He
can
was-
know
to
where
to
he
start
was.
a jihad.
He was giving his people the warrior's way out by giving them a fake war to fight and die for. And then he himself wanted to die on this excursion because at one point when they were like taking him down, he literally said, "Let me die!"
But the easiest way to get what he wanted would have been to skip the whole fake excursion and just run out onto a parapet and go, "Oh shit, the thing's missing!" And there you go.
Done.
parapet.
Problem solved.
While leaning over a balustrade.
Yeah, like
For all I know, he fucked it up, and like they weren't supposed to realize it was gone already or something.
Maybe.
And they realized, oh no, we have to do rescue attempt. And he's, rescue attempt. Right, this can't just go
He's
straight
the
to
crown
war.
prince of
The hereditary
of the score.
prince.
They really scored with him.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, bird brain. Not very.
Bah.
No, really.
But one of his people was an historian in that stupid Spock time travel episode.
Yeah, and they were bad at their jobs too.
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, this whole assemblage of all right, we have everybody we need for this little project. We have Burt Brain McGee, the Crown Prince of Shithole Town.
But he can fly.
It's exactly. Ocean's 11 was apropos because we have Bird Brain McGee who brings to the table both his interest in the outcome and his ability to fly.
Yep.
We got Lizard Face Jones, whose main thing is to be the muscle. He
Yep.
can take whatever we come across.
I liked him.
I really liked him, and I thought for the art, he was the only good art drawing of a
well
new creature
done.
I've ever seen
Sure.
in this show.
Go on.
We got
And then you see him next to fucking Slimer.
We get Winky Dink McScaredy Balls.
Melting popsicle kind of guy.
Melting McPopsicle.
He reminded me of Filbert from Rocco's Modern
The
Life.
greatest safe cracker this side of Orion's belt.
But only if I can not shit myself halfway through.
Again, for all they play it up, his fear it barely
under control.
actually.
You know what he's afraid of? Turning a page and having to wash his hands.
What else we got? Oh, we got
The huntress lady?
Slutsky McTracker.
Slutsky
Was that
Who can find the quickest way to cock from anywhere in the galaxy?
I never go wrong.
Was that Majel Barrett again?
Of course it was.
What the fuck was she doing? Why
No
was
one
she
knows.
being one of the gangsters from Piece of the Action?
Who knows?
I also love, like, was she human or not? Because those
She
were
was
not
human.
human eyebrows.
Well, they were painted
She was
on.
humanoid.
She was.
What they should have done is just drawn in one of Shana's people. That would have been fine.
That's, like, that's the thing. I would have just
Shut it
accepted,
up.
like,
I loved her.
yeah, all right, she's some sort of humanoid alien. That's why she got weird eyebrows. But she kept saying just human, not humanoid.
Well, dude, you don't know what evolution
I
is
think
going
she
to do
was
to our
human.
eyebrows.
I think she was human. I think she just lived in a far off colony or something. But she yeah, I mean, yay there, Mr. Kirk. Let's have a green old time, and I'll give you a handy on the way back.
you handy.
I love, it's like, I've got plenty of green memories like that. You do, Kirk.
And a green dick.
Yeah.
Yikes.
From that Orion woman.
Yeah.
And then and then we get Spock, who is on the mission for some reason because he's Vulcan.
Logical.
Logic.
Yeah.
He brings Mr. Logic, the brains of the operation.
We bring on Mr. Logic because he's the most likely to figure out that this is all a fucking sham.
And
Good
then-
move,
and
idiots.
and then Kirk
For his
is really there for no reason.
Yeah, for great
Well, like-
leadership. All he does the whole time is say, yes, that's a good idea. Like, does he actually do any leading or decision making
Oh, he
in this
decides to
episode?
go back for Spock when it puts the entire mission
Yeah.
in jeopardy.
And he decides not to bang the really thirsty hot girl with the sweet eyebrows.
Also
So-
bad leadership.
So 0 for 2 there, Kirk.
The real kicker with this motherfucker of an episode is it's such a great idea. Space heist.
Yeah, well, it's like that Doctor Who episode.
Yeah.
That really good
Which
Peter Capaldi.
was a highlight in an otherwise bad season.
It was a good episode.
Which one was that?
Season 8.
I don't know.
Capaldi's first
What was
one.
what was the episode?
They literally, it's a space heist. They have to get something out of, like, the most secure bank in the universe.
I don't remember. But
Yeah.
It was
Gotcha.
good. It was good.
But then they blow it with this absolute pile.
Well, it's like I said to Chris, what did I say? I was like, how much do you want to bet that, like, it turns out that Char has been bad the whole time and he turns it around on them and, like, tries to kill them at the end? I was foreseeing more of, like, a double crossing them so that he could have all the glory type of scenario. But I was just like, no, it's, like, pretty clear that Char is not good. At least what I thought. I don't know.
You know who almost got charred? The entire crew when their car got stuck in the mud and there's a lava flow.
Did you notice that, like, it was on a fucking 30-degree, completely flat hill and it couldn't go up? What the fuck garbage shit did they give them for equipment?
Did you also notice that, like,
It's like fucking MacGyver in here.
when
We've
they
got a paper clip.
first stall out or whatever, and the lava starts flowing? The very first shot of that is the lava overtaking the car.
Yeah.
But then the next shot, the lava is like miles away, and it's going to take minutes to get here.
Holy
Yes.
shit. This show doesn't understand where shit is in with relation to each other. This is a shock. This has never happened before.
This show honestly has the worst attention to detail of.
And perspective. The perspective is
Well, the perspective is terrible, but
always.
like it's just even like from shot to shot. Well, I think it was. Yeah, it was the next episode, but I'll mention it now. But there's a shot where McCoy calls up the
Yeah.
bridge and sends Spock down, and then there's a shot of Kirk standing or sitting in his captain's chair next to McCoy, saying, "Spock, McCoy wants you down in sick bay."
Spock, bring McCoy with you to sick bay. You have to get to sick bay.
What the fuck? And there's like so many points in the show where from shot to shot. They're in different locations. That happens again in that episode at the end when they're in sickbay, and then there's a random shot where they're on the bridge.
Now listen, I just want to say, in the defense of this show,
No.
that you could argue that this is just them being true to the original series, because how many times have we been on the bridge with Chekhov and the helm, and then they take another shot, and it's that fucking blonde-haired lumberjack who sometimes sits there.
because
It's
they're reusing footage.
It's never been as bad, though.
That's why
as-
they're doing it here, too. They're recycling animation, right? I mean...
But still, it's one thing to have the wrong guy from behind. It's another to have, like...
And they don't
I'm
have a
just
shot
trying
of the
being-
captain's chair, of Kirk in the captain's chair without McCoy.
Guys, I'm just being...
They don't have that shot in their fucking
facetious.
repertoire.
I'm just being facetious.
I know.
But also probably not. Like, that'd be expensive.
Oh, God, it's so just...
But yeah, Jihad was bad. And
Jihad
also,
was
though,
bad.
I have to say that, like, I was surprised by the word jihad being used in this 1970s...
It wasn't...
Cartoon.
It wasn't... It didn't have the same...
I'm just surprised that as a word... Because it doesn't... What is the etymology of the word jihad? Like, where does that word come from? Really? Like, what language?
I don't actually
look
know.
it up.
Like,
Let's
I'm
use
honestly
the
curious
internet.
because of course.
But I think it does literally translate to Holy War, so...
I guess I was surprised because I feel like most... I don't know. I didn't know what the word jihad meant until... shit happened.
Let's look at Merriam-Webster.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it didn't have quite the same sort of automatic panic response in the West.
Right, but I'm wondering how
In the
common
70s.
it would have even been for people to even
it
know
is
what the fuck
defined as a
jihad is.
crusade, and the etymology is Arabic.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. Like, I just wonder what the likelihood is that, I mean, of
Yeah.
course, all the adult nerds watching this
You
show...
should pronounce it jihad, because apparently that's how the British pronounce it.
Oh, well, of course, they're the experts on other cultures.
Burn.
I don't think G had a clue.
What do you think he was doing?
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice work,
Fixed.
Ames.
All right, let's jump
I'm
to the
dead
end.
inside.
Yes, please.
Let's jump to the end.
Oh, the end
We're
where
in-
it was so unclear that
Will you let
the artifact
Ames-
is supposed to be like 1,000 feet in the air.
Oh, that's what that was.
See, I thought it was...
in
They
that
showed
case,
the
yes.
room, because it looked like they could have just walked across the room
Right?
and grabbed it.
But they're like, we can't get to it. And it was like, why?
The walls are unscalable. Oh, let's scale the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly that actually fixes like what the fuck though, because Jake and I asked like why can't they walk across the room? We're in the giant circus tent with no doors.
The floor is lava!
Yeah, no, because the way it was animated, it looked like
Everything
it was
else
just,
was lava.
That's true.
like the way it was animated, it just looked like it was across the room. But apparently it was way up high.
They animated that really fucking poorly.
That was definitely the biggest animation disaster in this entire series, which is saying something.
like wow.
How did
like,
they
wow.
defeat Score?
Well,
He gave up really quick.
Or
No,
Tar.
it was the anti-grav battle. Because apparently Spock and Kirk practiced
Say-
anti-grav battles.
Oh, that was
Say,
a great line.
Spock, when's the last time you practiced your anti-grav battle maneuver?
Oh, it was
Last week.
with you.
With you,
Oh, right.
you fucking idiot. You fucking moron.
Chris actually took issue with that line at the time, and what I said was, well, maybe he thought Spock had done it even more recently.
But still, like,
Even so,
oh, your anti-grav training is a week old? Well, I guess that plan's foiled because it's been too long.
And an anti-grav battle would fucking suck. Because, like, if they're stuck in anti-grav, like, they don't have momentum. The bird can flap his wings and move around. They're stuck, having to jump off of the wall and propel themselves.
And yet they still did better.
They did a really good job.
Well, there was 2 versus 1.
And they just had their training.
Yeah. Well, they had trained for their 0G combat.
Listen, you never know.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
this one was bad. I can't tell if I hated this one more than the Magics of Megas 2.
How about...
Magics of Megas 2 was at least, like, for me anyway, funny bad, whereas this was just excruciating.
It was pointless. It was just pointless bad. It had the lizard guy I liked.
It was interesting.
But that's about it.
I far preferred Megas 2, because I slept through it.
You're so smart, Caitlin.
I know.
I want another spin-off that's just little green fella and his new best friend, the lizard.
The little green fella, M3 Green?
Sure.
Oh no, he was so bad. He looked like he was melting. And
No,
all
I know,
Is
but
that
like,
actually his name? M3 Green?
Yes.
Is it like other colors of him?
Well, that's the artificial color that you get when you squeeze him. That's why he's a coward. That's why he's a coward, because people take his people and turn them into...
Was he built by Daystrom?
I think that the only they named him M3 Green so that the animators would know to make him green, which they did not get this note for the Orions in Pirates of Orion. Because they fucked it up.
There's probably like a code written on the script that like his name was supposed to be M3 and they put in parentheses green. And then like when the actors were reading the script, they're like, oh, his name is M3 Green? All right, we'll leave that on there.
That's the...
We're not going to do a second take. What do we have? $10?
Isn't M3 green the Pantone color of the year this year?
Yeah.
so wait, Ames, what is the research for Orion that you think is going to just make me
I'll
plots?
get to that. Wrapping up the Jihad. This was actually the same writer as the Mud episodes.
All
3 of them.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
He did better work with the
He did
Mud
much better
episodes.
work with the Mud episodes. And M3 Green was voiced by David Gerald, who was the Tribbles writer.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Because he asked, I'm very close to getting whatever their equity is called. I forget what their equity
SAG?
is. SAG. Yeah, he was very close to getting his SAG appearance, something. And he said, "Can I voice
I need
M3
some
Green?"
points.
And he did. And that's the end of that.
Oh. Well, good. The voice acting wasn't bad. It was consistent. And it made me think he was a little bitch.
What's her name was
bitch.
consistently thirsty.
She sounded like a fucking gangster, and I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I
Like
thought she sounded kind of southern.
We'll
to me.
see, Kirk.
I felt it was more like, where I come from, we say what we think.
Where I come from, we suck and fuck.
Yikes.
And I don't know, I was trying to think of something else to do with that. But
Yes.
suck and fuck is good enough.
Yeah, it was really good. He did
Speaking
well.
of writers who don't really belong in whatever it is they're doing.
Did Walter Koenig write another episode?
No, close though.
Oh.
This was written by Howard Weinstein, and this was originally a school science fiction publication published by his high school because he's 19 years old.
He was in high school at the age of 19?
Well, he was 19 when he gave the script to Star Trek.
Okay, alright.
Because I guess it was for a project.
Oh.
And then he went to college and it was produced.
Did he write it originally as a Star Trek episode? Like this was his Star Trek fanfic? Or was it just science fiction that he wrote that they... Jake's sitting over here rubbing it in our face that he's got the last seltzer in the house.
Wasn't there another one in there?
What?
I thought there was a
And she's gone.
Enter the sounds of like Scooby-Doo feet.
I thought I left one in there because there was two.
Those aren't free. I'm not putting those in.
Alright, speaking of
So, yeah.
dicks and poop, what about the next episode?
The Pirates of Orion?
Wait, so what did we'd broken away from? You asked if it was his fanfic or what. Let's go back to that.
I don't know.
No, let her ask the question again, sorry.
She has the fucking...
Okay, I don't know if it was overlapping with the dick song.
It wasn't. It was overlapping with Jake opening his soda.
Oh, well,
No, it was
I want to
overlap-
lose that, too.
Whatever.
Say, Ames.
Say, Caitlin.
Do you know if this was actually originally Star Trek fan fiction or if he just wrote a science fiction story that they adapted for Star Trek?
I'm going to say both, Caitlin.
Very good.
I mean, there was nothing particularly Star Trek-y about the episode. In fact, it was decidedly, I would say, not Star Trek.
Bringing the Orions back was a good touch.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, you're talking about... I thought you were still talking about Jihad.
No, we
No,
moved
we're-
on.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I again, not sure why they're blue. Was it that same director?
It was their coloring difficulties. Like, the animators don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's why, there's moons where there shouldn't be moons, and there's McCoy on the bridge where there shouldn't be McCoy on the bridge. Or why the Kazinti cat people were pink. There is no good way to animate this show.
I know.
That's the thing that's such a bummer is like being able to animate it should have really opened so many doors to so much wacky shit they couldn't have done before. Because
Bird monsters, slug people,
special effects that you don't have to fucking pay for and somehow try to make it happen. It's just a drawing then, and you still pay for it.
They can still they've done a good job creating the characters. They've done a shit job of making them go.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Because,
It's just-
adding birds and slugs and stuff, great. I love it. I love that we can do this, but you haven't done anything with them.
Not a sausage.
Though, honestly, Eric's, really? A fucking third arm in the middle of your shit? It just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. I'm
Never
never
been
going to
used
get
as a
over
third
it.
arm for anything useful.
Well, he's jerking himself off.
He played his
basically
guitar
all
all
the
he played
time.
his guitar once.
I'd like to see him, helming the ship with two arms and just picking his nose with a third at one point, just because, why not?
Only if
Be
he
funny.
takes a break from jerking off.
Maybe he's actually piloting the ship with two
one
arms,
arm.
then jerking
And his
off
penis?
Sulu with the other one.
This has gotten strange.
I feel uncomfortable.
It's gotten very strange.
Yeah, it's my slash
You
fiction.
notice that the navigator on the spice freighter
Was Sulu?
Was Sulu?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
I was like,
Aw.
hey, George Takei, how's it going? And also, I think that was also the one where, Majel Barrett was just being Majel Barrett.
Again.
Not anything, not even a,
She's gone through all the voices already. She's got to just start over again with voice one.
Yeah.
I will say, back to the original point, considering it was written by a teenager, this episode's not bad.
It kind of wasn't that bad anyway, right? I mean, it
It's
wasn't
more
great.
structurally sound than a lot of the episodes we've had.
Yeah,
This
but
is
it's
true.
boring as fuck. It's wicked boring.
They definitely should have spent more time with the other crew, trying to avoid the pirates first. They kept cutting back to the Enterprise.
evasive maneuvers.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Spock getting stupid more. There wasn't nearly enough of that. There was one time where he was like, oh no, I wasn't asleep, I was resting my eyes. And that was it. That feels like that was the only time that we saw that anything was going on with him, right?
He'd actually secretly, vomited into his little eye thing at one
Did
point.
you do it doing in your pants?
Oh no.
Eric's found that out the hard way later. Uh-oh! Someone get me a new eye thing. He puked in it.
Oh.
So he had
Space pneumonia.
Yeah, something that's not as bad as pneumonia, which apparently is also not a big deal in the future.
Unless you've got copper blood.
Unless you're McCoy without his med kit, like he is a lot of times.
Yeah, McCoy's useless without exactly what he needs. So he has to call ahead. We have to call Starfleet and say, hey, Starfleet, we need medicine for this disease.
Yep.
Yeah.
Send it over. Hop on a plane. FedEx that shit our way.
Yep.
Why don't they just have the fucking medicine on the ship?
Yeah, it's probably
Well, my
rare
question
enough.
here's my question is: so the whole ship has an outbreak of this stuff.
Yeah.
McCoy cures it because humans are easy to cure. During all of this, why the fuck didn't they just quarantine Spock?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
If like he says later, like, oh well, it's known Vulcans are this thing is fatal to Vulcans. It's just known. It's like, McCoy, if you knew this, you should not have put Spock anywhere near anyone who was infected.
Yeah, they should have just put him in Finney's pod with
Yeah.
some food.
Yeah, just
Make
lock
sure
him
Kirk
lock
can
him in
push
an
the button.
airtight suit for a little while with an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty silly. I mean, this episode doesn't really have, I don't think, any, there's little nitpicky shit in terms of plot, but otherwise the plot's pretty solid. And
Yeah.
I think that's why we're like, oh, this one wasn't so bad. Because it doesn't have any, major bullshit plot holes,
Right.
but it was still boring and dumb.
I don't know. Did you love the explosive asteroids though?
Those are fine.
Those were fine.
We've seen splody rocks before.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
impressed.
true, there's plenty of
just
floating
it's from
rocks.
the Apple planet.
Yeah. The apple planet finally exploded. That's what's left of it.
Exactly.
Good riddance, you weird
I was
looking
gonna say,
fucks.
Chris especially likes this episode now because it's giving him his new favorite canon. I didn't even find it that boring, really. I thought it was just enough. I don't know. But again, we have such a low bar
That's
that I
true.
can't tell if I just have Stockholm syndrome or if it actually was all right.
I mean,
You're the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I guess it's better that you had one contiguous episode that makes sense.
It did, yeah.
Versus episodes that just have random shit. thrown in.
Everyone's actions were logical.
Yeah.
Except for McCoy coming down to the bridge when he had just asked Kirk to send Spock to him. Aside from that, it was pretty good.
But there was no time travel that didn't make sense. There was no scheme that was completely stupid from the off. It was a sensible plot. And the fact that I am so happy to just see a sensible plot shows how fucking bad this series has been.
So, did the Orions, did Kirk let them go at the end, or did he...
Well, he was going to drag them before some sort of space trial.
They were tractoring them with them.
Yeah.
Because somehow the captain, I forget if he had a name.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, the Orion.
Yeah,
captain.
the Orion captain with his magic helmet.
Spear and magic helmet.
They prevented him from offing himself.
Yep.
Captain tells the rest of his crew, "Oh, don't self-destruct because I'm their prisoner now." I'm surprised the Orions didn't self-destruct anyway, or each of them take their own suicide pill.
But say they beam onto the ship later, and just everyone is dead.
How fucking loyal are they to their captain?
Yeah.
When their captain is in fucking prison but from the Federation, and they know, fuck, our captain is prisoner now. They're gonna know that we're not as neutral as we keep claiming we are, even though they knew that from the fucking Corridon, scenario. The Orions, they're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
If you're neutral, you don't keep staging coups. Or robbing freighters blind.
I'm just glad when we eventually see live action Orions later, they decided to completely ignore this design of them and just slapped, I think, the Big Show and a lot of green makeup.
The Big Show?
Possibly, definitely some WWF wrestler appears as an Orion slave trader.
I mean, was he 8 feet tall
He was
and
very
fat
tall, yes.
and long
I
hair?
don't remember. There was no hair.
It was
He
probably the Big
covered
Show.
in green.
Big Show is just huge.
But yeah, thank goodness they didn't use that design of Orions when they went live action. It would have looked...
Now, there is a massive, massive plot hole in this episode.
Yeah.
That I just thought of. Why the fuck didn't they just put Spock through the transporter
and reload him?
Reload a previous save?
That's a really
That's a
good question.
Yeah.
They should do that all the time. Also, when and it may not have been established ever, or I'm just thinking of it now. When was it ever established that the transporter kind of kills germs and shit? that you come through.
Doesn't that not happen?
And that's why you don't get
until
diseases.
Next gen? Because
Yeah, I
I
think
feel
they
like
mention it
at
in
least
Next
in the original series, Naked Time, they're like, okay, they're back, and now we're going to put them through decontamination. So they were definitely doing it separately, at least first season. Original
But
series.
didn't they also do a deactive? They can do shit like deactivating weapons. already.
Yeah, but
I feel like they did that
different.
during TOS. Yeah, but the point is, like, the transport is really fucking insidious because you can manipulate shit inside the transport.
Or leave them in the fucking wave form or what have
Or
you.
you maybe probably fuck with their memories. Oh god, we missed his... What?
That's what they should have done with Spock. They should have just put him in the teleporter, left him in his fucking
Stasis,
particle form
yeah.
so that he couldn't get any worse, and then once they got the cure, take him
Put
out.
him back together.
He's floating above us in a million tiny pieces.
Delicious.
We're going to put him back together on the other side.
And he'll be a candy bar.
Yum!
I was gonna say, Jake, getting back to the insidiousness of the transporter, you're like, oh shit, we lost his right foot. Alter his memory. He'll always think he hasn't had one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You can't alter memory in the transport.
You can turn off a gun, so maybe. I did have one last actual point.
Ooh.
Another important precedent set here, though. Following a ship's unique signature. That'll come up time and again from here on out in Star
the
Trek.
warp signature.
Like, just the fact that they...
Oh, the chemtrails.
Yes, the chemtrails.
chemtrails.
Like, in this case, yeah, it's a special radiation. There'll be, I think the...
I feel like we sort of kind of did that a little bit on Shauna's episode.
Actually...
But those were transported, not a ship.
Actually, I think that they followed the unique signature of the terrible rocket ship in Spock's brain.
Oh, that's true.
So, it's actually that's... So, yes, it does
But they
actually
couldn't
happen
narrow
earlier.
down what planet it was.
Yeah.
I did like that. Like they got a little thing. We got like the Spock's blood is copper based. That's kind of a cool little tidbit.
Yeah.
And then McCoy had to be fucking racist about it.
That's true.
I don't know why he was
Serious
pushing.
racism.
He was pushing
But-
so hard at the end.
But because during this episode, McCoy says to Kirk, as much as I pretend to hate that green-blooded cunt, I don't want to see him go through this. So what happened was McCoy really let a piece of his heart out. He let everyone see his true feelings. So he had to be extra mean to him afterwards to be like, no, I didn't say that. Ugh, fucking green-blooded hobgoblin.
I mean, I meant julep.
Oh, did you also notice that the spice hauler had a weird registry number? It was like NCCF.
I think
1985 or something.
I think the automated cargo ships from More Troubles had a similar bizarre... That just seemed to be something they decided that cargo ships have. Is, NCC dash a letter and then a call sign. It's very weird.
F is for Freighter.
F is for Frasier.
F is for fuck me, thank God this is almost over.
Yeah, we're so close.
Oh,
to
baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salads and scrambled eggs.
Quite stylish.
So, this has been episode 47 of A Star to Steer Her By. We are so close to the end of the animated series. 2 more left, and in the next one, we are looking at Bem, the Practical Joker, and Albatross.
Like this show.
Yeah. Do please find and like our Facebook page, A Star to Steer Her By. Follow us on Twitter or Tumblr under SSHB Podcast. Consider giving us a review on iTunes if you use that, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting application. For A Star to Steer Her By, this has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And this is always Jake.
Thank you for listening.
Be sure to tip your yeoman.
Yeah.
I met the Big Show once.
Did you?
I did, at Roy Rogers after a wrestling show when I was 15. And he walked in, and when a door opens and you kind of look and you automatically have an eye level that you look at, which is where people's faces usually are. I saw chest. I kept looking up, and I was like, holy shit.
It keeps going.
And I was wearing a Rock jersey at the time, as in Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And this was during a feud between The Rock and The Big Show.
Oh, no.
And so I was really embarrassed and sad, because wrestling apparently was real life. I don't really know. He was going to be actually offended.
Damn it.
So anyway, that's the story about how I met the Big Show. He was having none of it.
Now, was this at a highway rest stop? Because that's the only place I've ever seen a Roy Rogers.
Yeah, we were on our way home. It was at a service plaza. We were on our way home.
I saw one in a food court once in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
All I
Long
remember is
time
like
ago.
one time driving somewhere with my family, we stopped off at a Roy Rogers because like it used to be like nowadays every highway rest stop is a McDonald's, but it used to be every highway rest stop was a Roy Rogers, and there was encrusted vomit on the tray that we got, and that was gross.
That's free. That's free charge. You
Free vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, that's
No, we're not going to charge you for the vomit, folks.
It's a compliment.
This has been Disgusting Fucking Story Corner.
Well, I'm pretty sure Roy Rogers is out of business.
Good.
I haven't seen one in probably 15 years, so...
Man, but I could really go for a hamburger right about now.
I sure could, too.